So yeah, and we have the mic right here. So the way where I want to start at, I want to start with I'm gonna start with the word, okay? And throughout the lesson, we're gonna come back to the word there, because what I found is, and I'm sure a lot of y'all found, there's a lot of spiritual roots to a lot of disease and everything like that. When you read the Gospels, when Christ came and he was walking the earth, majority of what he was doing was healing and casting out demons. Okay? So, you know, that is the foundation. But with that said, we're gonna get into some verses here. And the first verse I'm gonna read is Sirach Ecclesiasticus 37, verse 27. I'm gonna read to verse 31. It says, "My son, prove thy soul in thy life, and see what is evil for it, and give not that unto it. For all things are not profitable for all men, neither have every soul pleasure in everything. Be not unsatiable in any dainty thing, nor too greedy upon meats. For excess of meats bringeth sickness, and surfeiting will turn into cholera. By surfeiting have many perished, but he that taketh heed prolongeth his life." And that word surfeiting is an overwhelming supply, excess. And insatiable means impossible to satisfy. And what it was talking about is, when it comes to surfeiting, he's talking about in meats. Cholera means angry, irritable, and generally bad temperament. And so the book is kind of giving you a hint of how you need to be conducting yourself when it comes to eating and eating of certain foods, okay? All right, we're going to go to Sirach Ecclesiasticus 38, and we're going to start at verse 1. And it says, "Honor the physician with the honor due unto him for the uses which ye may have of him, for the Lord hath created him. For of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king. The skill of the physician shall lift up his head, and in the sight of great men he shall be in admiration. The Lord hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them. Was not the water made sweet with wood, that the virtue thereof might be known? And he that giveth men skill, that he might be honored in his marvelous work. With such doeth he heal men, and taketh away their pains." So one of the things to point out is the people who are skilled to know, hey, this herb does this, that, and the other. But it gives honor to the Most High Yah, because once you know what herb does what, and this does this, that, and the other, that's it. I mean, it's very simple the way these herbs work as far as what you need to do in order to administer them and use them. Same thing with diet. You're going to see through here, diet is very simple and straightforward. It's not complicated, okay? On what foods do what and why you're getting the results you're getting. And what you're going to find, this is concrete. There's no hearsay. You can go and try this today and see the result you get in a week or in a month. And you'll know, hey, was Mike just talking or is this the truth? Okay, it's very provable. All right. Where we're going to start at is the core of everything. And again, the truth is straightforward, it's simple, it's not complicated. The Most High is not the author of confusion. The main system of concern, the system that surrounds every illness that comes upon man, is the lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system is basically your body's sewage system. Okay? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through here, and as we go through the lesson, and I'm going to break down certain diseases and how they're caused and how, tie them all together. And you're going to see that they all surround the lymphatic system, your body's sewage system. Okay? So that is the core of things. All right? So let's see, what do I got? All right, how the lymphatic system works. The analogy that I give is if your body was a house, your lymphatic system would be the sewage system in the house. Your circulatory system would be, what they need, a mic?
No, just turn it on, just keep it ready.
Okay. Yeah, you just gotta hit that power button.
Yeah,
Your circulatory system would be the water supply coming in the house. And the equivalent of your lymphatic system getting backed up, like for instance, you have a sewage system going to your kitchen, going to the kitchen sink. You have the sewage system going to the laundry room, to the shower, to the toilet, to all these different areas. So let's say the sewage system backs up in the kitchen. Now the circulatory system is still working, but now you can't wash the dishes. So now you got dirty dishes in the sink. Then the dirty dishes begin to pile up. Now bugs come in. You got flies and roaches crawling around on it. So now you got parasites. And then now the kitchen's getting dirtier and dirtier, and then the water's backing up on the floor, and it's just getting nastier and nastier. And they call different things, like for instance, a good analogy of the roaches, the dishes backing up in the sink, you might call that a tumor. And then the roaches beginning to come in there, you might call that cancer. And then it backing up, as it backs up in the floor, they start saying, hey, the tumor is growing, the cancer is spreading. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of an analogy of how all this works. All right, and we're gonna get further into that as we go further in the lesson. What compromises the lymphatic system? So what backs it up? What makes it weak? Okay, we're gonna get into some of that. One of the foundational things that will cause your lymphatic system to get backed up, believe it or not, is stress, hurt, bitterness, just any type of spiritual state or mental state that puts your body in a fight or flight condition. Because what that does is it tells your body, hey, I'm in this fight or flight condition and things are critical and we need to prepare for battle. And what your body does is shuts down all unnecessary systems. So what it'll do, your lymphatic system, your kidneys and all that stuff, your body doesn't need that to fight. So it'll shut them down and they won't be filtering and detoxifying as good. And that's why you see a lot of people come down with some of these diseases. A lot of times they have stuff going on in their life. They're miserable, stuff like that. So that's one thing that can cause your lymphatic system to be compromised. Another thing, caffeine. the energy that you perceive you're getting from caffeine is caffeine putting your body in a fight or flight mindset, okay? And it does the same thing that stress will do, okay? It's stress that you drink in a cup. You like, now you're ready to fight. Your eyes, your pupils dilate, you get all dialed in, you're focused, you're mentally sharp, everything's prepared. It shuts down all unnecessary systems, your lymphatic system. It shuts all that down, and you think you have energy, but you're really slowly toxifying yourself, okay? Another one is vitamin D. So if your vitamin D gets too low, okay, and you have low vitamin D, that will cause your lymphatic system to shut down. How so? Well, vitamin D, you get vitamin D from sunlight. If you don't get enough sunlight, what you're basically telling your body, and I'm just simplifying it, you're telling your body, hey, it's dark, I'm hibernating, I'm sleeping, I'm not working. All you body systems, you can just shut down and relax and take it easy. The lymphatic system, take it easy, nothing's going on, I'm not working, I'm not doing anything. And all your systems bog down. When you're out in the sun and you're getting sunlight, you're telling your body, hey, I'm out here, I'm working, I need all systems up to 100%, there's things to do. So if your vitamin D gets too low, you're opening yourself up to sickness and illness, stuff like that. And so far going down this list, y'all can see that a lot of people might have not just one of these, but multiple things on this list going on with them in their life, okay? And I got a little thing here that says, if you don't have enough vitamin D, you cannot activate the adaptive immune system. So the innate immune system has to be used, and it overreacts. So your innate immune system, the analogy I would give is, say that chair over there is a germ, okay? And all y'all are cells, healthy cells that the body needs. But that chair over there is a germ. Your innate immune system would be me pulling out my knife, eliminating it, okay? Your adaptive immune system would be me throwing a hand grenade over there. Boom! Some of y'all get hurt, and what they would call, y'all who get hurt, they would call that an autoimmune disease. And that's what happens when, again, your vitamin D gets low and your immune system starts getting compromised, okay? All right. Go ahead. Give it a mic. Is it on, Tom? Yes.
You're talking about the vitamin D?
Turn it up. Go ahead.
You're talking about vitamin D, and I know because of melanated people, we feel like we don't need as much vitamin D. That's a false statement, right? Because of that.
Well, it's actually the other way around. Melanated people, our melanation, we're designed to be out in the sun. It filters out like 90-something% of the sun. Okay? White people, because they don't have as much melanin, they can get a small amount of sun and take in a large amount of vitamin D. But black people, the darker you are, the more sun you need. And also, if you live, I forget where the latitude is, like where the line is, but it's a little bit north of Florida. If you live north of there, you're not going to be getting as much, it's harder for you to get as much sun as you need. If you live way up there where Kabir lives, there's a small time of the day during a small time during the year where you're going to be getting the amount of sunlight you need.
Okay, so how much sun
speak up a little. Yeah.
Okay, so how much sun should we actually getting?
Yeah. How much?
In a day's time, how much sunlight should we be getting? If you're saying, according to our complexion?
Right.
Okay.
Well, I think they said like 40 minutes of direct sunlight at a certain time daily. But this is the thing, like you need it on your back and all that stuff like that. What I do, I take a vitamin D supplement because what happened, my vitamin D was like chronically low. It was, your vitamin D level needs to be above 30 nanomoles per decimal liter or something like that. Mine was had dipped damn near in the single digits. Mine was at like 10. Ideally, you want to have it up at 80, 90, up there. And what it does, your body fights harder, it detoxifies better. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So what I do, I take a vitamin D supplement. The one I recommend is called Pure. The name of the company is Pure Encapsulations, and it's vitamin D. And I take 10,000 IUs of it. That's the one I take. And if you take 10,000 IUs or more, you need to take magnesium glycinate with it. Because in order for vitamin D to be like your body to use it, especially if you're low, it's gonna pull and consume a lot of magnesium out of your body.
So get the magnesium with the vitamin D.
The vitamin D and the magnesium together.
Yes, and take them together. Yeah. Now there's people like I take, like I said, 10,000 IUs a day, but there's people who take way more than that. But if you're going to take more than that, you need to go do the research because there's other minerals you're going to need, you know. But I'm not really super big on all that. But yeah, because what I did, one time I took like 20, when I was low, I took 20,000 IUs, so I took 2 of them, and I didn't take any magnesium. And some of these brothers were with me that day. We were out there working, and then my whole body just started locking up with cramps. And even if I breathed in deep, it was cramping. Because it just pulled so much magnesium out. And a quick tip for y'all to know whether you're low on magnesium or potassium. If you're low on magnesium, your body will cramp up while you're working. If you're low on potassium, your body will cramp up while you're in bed laying there and you're not doing anything. So that lets you know, hey, I'm low on potassium. Let me get my potassium up. Go ahead.
Mr. Michael, you answered my question because I take a vitamin D3 supplement every day, and I do take magnesium also, vitamin C, and everybody else. But I was told that the vitamins sometimes don't, I don't know how you call it, they don't dissolve in your system or something like that.
Right, and that's why the brand, because like I said, I was getting my blood tested, and I started taking the magnesium from Pure Encapsulation, and then a couple months later I got my blood test, and my levels had went from like 10 or 14 all the way up to like 60. So I know that brand works, you know what I'm saying?
And I need to know the first scripture you gave to Rock.
Hold on.
It's Rock 37.
It's Sirach 37, verse 27. Or it's called Ecclesiastes. So ideally, of course, the best way, and this goes to another thing. It comes right back to being obedient to the word, and how we operate here at Straitway. When you get on land, you're gonna be working outside. You're gonna be working in gardens. You're gonna be doing, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna be getting what you need because just following Yah's way of doing things. Instead of staying inside and going to Walmart to get our food, we're out there cultivating. So being out there to that degree, you're going to get the vitamin D that you need, you know, once we get in line with, you know, how things need to be.
Brother Michael, is there a vitamin that you can take to cleanse out the, what you call the lymphatic system?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get that. Oh yeah, we're gonna get all the way into that. Yep.
When you were talking about the adapt versus innate responses, is there a way for us to control, like which one or which response the cells, I guess, do to the threat out of the two?
Right. Yeah. What happens when your body's throwing hand grenades at threats? It means your innate immune system is down. So it's just going to the default basic system. And what causes the innate immune system to go down is a low vitamin D level. That's one of the causes. Yeah. All right. We good? Go ahead. Right here, Tom.
So you were saying earlier, if you don't have enough vitamin D, you don't activate the innate immune system?
Yeah, I'll read it to you again, because I might have said it backwards or something like that. It says if you don't have enough vitamin D, you can't activate, the adaptive immune system. And the reason it's called the adaptive immune system is because it can adapt to whatever threat it is, and it can come up with a solution for that particular threat. So it's saying if you don't have enough vitamin D, you can't activate the adaptive immune system. So the innate immune system has to be used, and it overreacts. So the innate system is the one that's throwing hand grenades and stuff. Yeah.
How you doing, I remember you mentioning caffeine being one of the things that affects the lymphatic system. Do you know if there's a difference between the effect in that between males and females? Or is it the same possibility?
Well, with caffeine, I say caffeine. I was bringing out its effect on the lymphatic system and the kidneys and all that stuff because it shuts them down. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of other stuff caffeine does that messes you up that I didn't go into, because it also dehydrates you. You know what I'm saying? It also messes with hormones, men and women alike. Yeah, it's a whole bunch of stuff. Yep. Go ahead. Yeah, it's on right there.
What was the particular type of magnesium?
Oh, I said, so there's two types of magnesium. That's a good question. There's two types of magnesium that I recommend, and magnesium glycinate, and glycinate, and you know I'm a bad speller, but I'm gonna make a damn good effort. GLYNICTE or something like that. Glycinate. There you go. Listen to her. And then the other one is magnesium threonate, and that's THERONATE. And that magnesium threonate, what they do, the magnesium is bonded to threonate, and threonate can pass the blood-brain barrier and go into your brain. Magnesium glycinate is kind of the main favorite because it has a high absorption rate, but it won't make you you know, make your bowels move, because there's another type of magnesium, I forget, oxide, and if you take too much of that, you'll know it.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, right here.
So I know that we have, well, there's obviously vitamins we can take. As far as magnesium goes, what foods or fruits or whole foods carry magnesium naturally or are very potent with it?
Right, so the thing is, for magnesium,
Like what foods carry magnesium?
I know cashews have a lot of magnesium, but you'd have to look. But yeah, there's a lot of foods that have a lot of magnesium, and if you're some of these diets, if you get on them, you got to make sure your magnesium intake is good. Like if you get on a high food diet and you're not consuming clean meat, you definitely need to make sure your magnesium stays up. But I don't know offhand what foods are high in magnesium except cashews, because I eat a lot of them. All right, y'all got any more questions? I'll stop. All right, so we talked about vitamin D, and we're going through the things that will cause your lymphatic system to be compromised. And now we're going to get into the big one, and the big one is protein. Protein will cause your lymphatic system to be compromised, and we're going to get into that. So a protein is a chain of amino acids, okay? The proteins contained in dairy, meat, beans, and grain are hard or impossible for the body to break down and create a lot of acid. Therefore, they create inflammation. Because inflammation is the body's response to protect itself from acids and foreign things that you might take in or stuff like that, okay? Now, the one that's the most destructive is grains. Grains are grasses. A grain is a grass and grass is a grain, okay? And I'm gonna name some of the grains, okay? You have wheat. You have sugar cane. Sugar is a grass or a grain, okay? So you have sugar. You have rice. You have corn. Okay? And the thing is, because I want to go into this carefully, like when I was in the military, the wheat over in Europe, you could eat it and it really didn't have so much of a detrimental effect on you over there. But the wheat over here, I'd be hard pressed to I really don't even call anything we eat here that we consider bread, wheat, pasta, I really don't consider that wheat, because they have genetically or bred that wheat to such an extent, you'd be hard pressed to even call it wheat. Like wheat back in the 60s and 50s, wheat used to grow like this tall. The wheat today grows like this tall. But the roots on it will grow this tall, because they've designed it to like shoot down into the ground. And in manipulating the chemistry or whatever of the wheat, they've turned like the stuff that's bad for you is like magnified in it. And they've done that with all these crops. Sugar, wheat, all that stuff. The other thing with wheat is that, wheat and these grains, is that they have a lot of proteins in them that your body cannot break down. They have, I think it's gliadin. I got it on here. Let me just go through this. All right. I'm going to just read through my notes. So check this out. Leptin, okay? Leptin. thein, is a hormone that tells the brain when enough fat is stored, preventing overeating and aiding in healthy calorie burning. Grains, particularly wheat and sugar, block leptin. So this is why if I see anybody overweight, I know they're consuming a lot of wheat and grains. Because again, they have leptins in them that will block your body from knowing that enough fat has been stored. So your body will just keep storing. Okay? So now we're going to get into gliadin. This is another reason why you're going to see these two powerful reasons. And look, the list of the things that these grains do to you is long. I pulled out the most, shocking ones I could, Go ahead. Give him mic though.
I got two questions. The first, let's say you're in a phase of looking to build a little bit more muscle, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you suggest as far as protein is concerned?
Right.
What sources that someone can eat that's not destructive to the lymphatic system? Okay. So the first thing is with the proteins, okay. And we were gonna get into it, but we'll get into it right now. With proteins, the reason why proteins in general, and especially the level we eat them at in the American diet are so destructive, is because when you eat a protein, it's an acidic process. You eat the protein, and then your body has to break that protein down into amino acids. Then it has to reconstruct them into what it needs them to be. When you consume fruit, the fruits are already amino acids. So all your body has to do is put them together. So it's not generating all the inflammation, and when your body's breaking these proteins down, some of the stuff it doesn't use. So now you have waste floating around and toxins and all this stuff floating around in your body. And what you find, a lot of these bodybuilders, like the super big ones, when they get older, what's the name of that one dude who had all the back surgery? Ronnie Coleman, man, have y'all seen that dude? He is like, bro. And I watched a video of Ronnie Coleman from back in the day. He had, y'all ever see the foot pans we were washing our feet in? Did y'all see them pans? Like it's like a dish pan? He had a pan like that full of chicken, just like for lunch. Just eating with barbecue sauce, just shoving this crap down. Just protein loaded. And I mean, y'all seen it, he was ripped, but now, go in your phone now if you can and look up Ronnie Coleman. And he looks, he can't even walk. He all types of issues. All right? So options to build, fruits cleanse and vegetables build. Particularly alfalfa sprouts. They use alfalfa to build up horses, to make horses big and strong. So alfalfa sprouts are a good option. Alfalfa, that'll build as nutrient dense in those areas. So that's a good one. Okay. Also, back in the day before I came to Straitway, when I was out there in the Hebrew Israelite community and all that, one of the Hebrews, he actually came by my house and everything, came on my shelf. His name is Shimshon, and he was the Olympic weightlifter, the vegetarian Olympic weightlifter. Yeah, so, but yeah. You had another? Go ahead. And you were saying right before leptin is blocked.
it will block your body from knowing when enough fat is doing what, you see?
Right. It basically, what wheat does is tells your body you don't have enough fat stored. Keep storing fat. Keep storing fat. That's what wheat does. And the other thing it does that I was getting ready to get into is one of the proteins that your body cannot break down is called gliadin. Your body can't break it down, and it seeks another protein in wheat. When it hits your gut lining, it loosens it up, and it lets that other protein seep through. One of the proteins it lets seeps through is called gliadin, and that binds to the opioid receptor in your brain. And it causes you to keep craving wheat. You're addicted to it. A lot of people don't even know what being hungry is. They've never felt a hunger pain. You only get cravings. When you think you're hungry in the morning, it's really just a craving. Because me, I eat one meal a day. So far today, I had like a handful of cashews. That's it. I'm not hungry. I'm good. I used to eat 3 big meals a day. Now, I'm lucky if I eat 1 big meal a day. You see what I'm saying? A lot of us are addicted. Because these people, man, they're doing witchcraft. Like the way they bred these, look, to make money, they want you addicted to it. It's sorcery. This is why we gotta grow our own food. Because this stuff, like they don't even like calling it wheat, the people who have any type of scientific background and everything like that. And they do that with the sugar, with the wheat, with corn, all this to make it grow fast and keep you coming back. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, Brother Mike, when you say that with vegetables, would you recommend eating them raw because applying heat to it breaks down the bonds, and then you lose a lot of its nutritional value, so we should always consume it raw? You recommend it?
If you want to go extreme, there's all levels of extreme you could go to. I tell people, I tell people to start, like if you just start at going on a high fruit diet, continue eating whatever you're eating. Just before you eat or whatever, eat more fruit. You're going to see a big change. You know? But if you want to cleanse the body, though, you need to be on a fruit diet. Like, depending on what your condition is and everything, you'll need to be on a fruit diet. You know? There's a lot of levels that you can go to this thing. You know, like right now for me, I'm eating a lot of fruit and oranges, but I ate some of the food that's been here. Most of it I haven't because there's a lot of grain in there. And we're going to get into some more of the effects of grain, but grains and particularly sugar can really mess up your nervous system. Because what happens, the grains and particularly sugar, the real fine blood vessels that go to your nerves, it'll mess those vessels up. It'll mess them up. We're going to get into it. And then those nerves don't get any blood, and then the nerves start acting up. It's a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, but we're going to get into the diet part of it, of what to eat and what different foods do and how they affect your body and all that. Yeah, we'll get into it.
Sir?
Go ahead.
I'm gluten intolerant, and I understand from my doctor that
You're what intolerant?
gluten, and that's a protein, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gluten is another protein in there. Yeah.
You didn't mention that.
And let me say this. I'm gonna get into this later too, because there's diets that like you can without a doubt, like these foods affect different people in different ways, stuff like that, because we all have different makeups. Some people might have a strong digestive system, so they don't like
the proteins in this stuff don't really mess with them like that. But it's still doing the same thing. It just hasn't went to that point. You know what I'm saying? Like some people could smoke cigarettes and they don't just come down with cancer immediately or whatever. Because that part of their body is strong or whatever. But I get online, I don't read the people talking about all this health stuff, because there's a certain, what will you call it? Because it's just like studying the truth. There's a mainstream narrative that they want to talk about because these companies are strong, and you start going against them, they're going to shut you up. These doctors, they can only talk about certain things publicly to the mainstream. But when you go online and you start looking at the medical journals that they publish online, it tells you all this stuff that I'm saying right there. Like you can look all this stuff up and it's going to tell you how terrible some of this stuff is. But they're not going to say it in the mainstream because, you know, there's money involved in it. That makes sense? So yeah. But yeah, there's gluten, there's gliadin, there's wheat germ agglutinin, there's a whole list of things, and they do all this crazy stuff. And it's funny because I was talking to one of the sisters, and we were talking about some of these diets. Like they have a carnivore diet. And people are like, man, I went on the carnivore diet and then this healed up. No, you stop eating grain and then you started seeing your skin cleared up and this happened. You know what I'm saying? So, and we're going to get into all these different diets too. I'm going to break those down too. All right, so let me read through this real quick. Lectins, okay? And lectins are basically plant defense proteins. They're things that make you not want to eat the plant. But listen, lectins, they are found in all plants, but raw legumes, beans, lentils, peas, soybeans, peanuts, and whole grains like wheat contain the highest amounts of lectins. What do they tell you on the food pyramid? What's the thing they tell you to make sure you get the most of? It's a hustle, boy. And this is the thing. The most powerful industry in the food industry is the grain industry, because grains, you can store them and they last long, and you ship them all over the world. So that's one of the most powerful industries. So they're going to influence whoever they can to make them be quiet about, what they call. All right, listen. Eating food containing lectins may cause digestive distress in some people. That's because the body cannot digest lectins. Instead, they bind to cell membranes like the digestive tract where they may disrupt metabolism and cause damage. Besides gliadin from wheat gluten, the lectin wheat germ agglutinin has also been shown to stimulate cells of immune system and increase intestinal permeability. So basically, it gives you leaky gut disease. So now all these other weird proteins will get in your body, and depending on where they go, they're going to start wreaking havoc, and you're going to see these weird conditions happening with yourself. Okay? Most meals, okay, so we're getting ready to get into sugar real quick. That's going to be a short one. But what I wanted to say is, we don't need to eliminate wheat totally, but this is the thing. People are unaware of how much grain they're consuming. So in this next thing I got here, I'm going to show y'all how much grain you're consuming, because people are just totally unaware. I said most meals are literally all sugar. And if they're not all sugar, they're like all sugar and grain, but people don't realize it. So what I put here is, for instance, spaghetti. Like you take a spaghetti meal. Well, the pasta, that's grain. The sauce will have sugar in it. It might have cornstarch, soy in it, okay? Then you might have a salad with your spaghetti. Well, you put the salad dressing on. That's more sugar. There's more grain in there, okay? And then maybe you'll have a glass of what? Orange juice or apple juice full of sugar. You literally just ate a whole meal full of sugar, like loaded with sugar. And this is how literally everything is. Any sauce, anything you see, they're putting a grain in it because they know it's addictive. And they in it for the money. You see what I'm saying? All right. I did another one. For breakfast, somebody might have eggs with some turkey bacon or turkey sausage and toast and orange juice. Again, or apple juice. The orange juice is full of sugar. The wheat is full of grain. You know, the toast is full of grain, okay, because it is a grain. The turkey sausage, look on that, got sugar in it. The turkey bacon, full of sugar. You know what I'm saying? They're putting it in everything. Okay, we're gonna, let's see. So sugar. Any excess glucose in the blood is turned into fat, okay? The liver is one of the places in our bodies that store excess fat. Over time, liver cells are gradually replaced by fat cells, leading to non-alcoholic related liver disease. That's another way sugar affects you. Over time, high blood sugar can damage blood vessels and the nerves that control your heart. Go ahead, give him the mic. He has a question. Terrence has one too. Tim, you got a question, Terrence? Turn the mic on. Hey, tell him, turn the mic on when you hand it to him.
Can you hear me? So my question was about the fruit diet. Could you expound on that a little bit more as far as like you were saying that the proteins, they cause more acid buildup and inflammation. Some of the fruits are acidic as well. So could you expound on why the fruits are better?
Right. So when I say it's acidic after digestion, not before. Okay? So like lemons, you might say they're acidic, but once they're digested and they're in the body, and they're broken down, they don't form an acidic ash. Like the waste product that's left over is not acidic. That's why, like, if you want to start reversing kidney issues and stuff like that, drink lemon or lime water every morning. And it's going to start cleansing out your kidneys and everything like that. There's this brother right here. Yeah.
I was wondering, what is the deadliest of wheat? Like,
what is the what?
Deadliest grain?
The bleached white flour. Yeah. But actually, good question, bro. What's worse than bleached white flour is whole grain bread. Whole grain bread will spike your glucose and stuff like that. It's worse than, because they haven't stripped anything off.
Is sugar worse than?
No. The wheat will spike your sugar higher than table sugar. Look it up. I'm just talking. Yep. Yeah, it's bad, man. Like Wonder Bread, you're going to be wondering why your health bad a couple of years later. Yeah. All right. One of the brothers here was telling me, look, because I don't eat, like the brothers in my community can tell you, I go the hardest with no sugar, no wheat, no nothing. But even me here, I ate some stuff. I seen they had some stuff that I knew had some sauce on it. That I was like, yeah, I know sugar's in there. I can feel it right now. I feel it. Because I haven't done it for a while. But prior to that, I was having neurological issues, and I could not figure it out. And as soon as I cut that stuff out, it went away. And then I ate it again, and it came back. And I stopped eating it again, and it went away. And I was like, wow. I'm like, this is crazy. Everything I'm saying, you can test it. You know what I'm saying? Provable and repeatable. All right?
Call it grain brain.
Grain brain, yeah.
On the sugar, we cut out sugar in our community, and I noticed after about a month, I was having no mucus at all. Like every morning I'd get up, blow my nose, and then have to spit after I was, in the morning. That's gone. And then I also had an employee that worked at a restaurant. He ran a restaurant before he came to work for me, and he ended up getting cirrhosis of the liver. And he was consuming, he said, a little bit of alcohol in the evenings, but not much. It turned out he was drinking a gallon of soft drinks during the day.
Ooh.
And he's on the donor list, and he's waiting on the donor.
Wow.
So sugar is very, and it's also, it's a demon. Because you'll see people manifest. You start taking sugar away, you'll see people start manifesting.
Look, listen, like I said, all these grains, they bind to an opioid receptor in your brain. You might need deliverance to get off it. Because I needed deliverance to get off caffeine. I had to get deliverance. I had a spirit on me. It was like, woo.
Half a
Now,
cup
what
drink
would
coffee.
you recommend if you're cutting out sugar first, then what would be the second? You said sugar is a grain, but wheat would be the next one?
I say just start cutting them out. I don't recommend any particular order. It's like a war that you get ready to embark on. Figure out where you want to start going to war at. What I would recommend, and I know Elder Crago, he did it. His Ashaya implemented. Download that free recipe book that Sister Koya put on her Household Herbs website, where she lists all the alternatives for these foods. So, because I've tried this in the past, but if you don't have an alternative to this stuff, it's just
Impossible.
yeah, it's damn near impossible. But because we have pancakes, but they're made from like almond flour and all this other stuff that the sisters use. You know what I'm saying? We have all the foods y'all have, and like Koya had made a grain-free muffin, like blueberry muffin, that are better than grain muffins. Like they off the charts. So it's like, I'm not trying to plunge y'all into a life of suffering. You sit there like, and now you're depressed because it's like,
A lot of times they'll give us all these conveniences because of time. You think you have to get all this pre-made stuff and it's all going to crap.
yeah.
You just have to put out the effort to be able to do research, and you've done a lot of that for us. So thank you very much.
Right. Yeah, so that, real talk, you know. Her, you said what? No, hey, hold on one sec. Don't use monk fruit, because they find out monk fruit is bad. That's sugar. Have any of y'all heard that? It causes heart attacks. So research that. Don't use monk fruit sugar.
So what would be a better alternative, honey or agave, something like that would be better?
Yeah, the sisters in our house, they use agave. Like Sister Leah made a grain-free, what was that, granola thing?
Yeah, granola.
Grain-free granola, and it was off the charts. Yeah, so the sisters use agave and honey. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what they do. I just eat it. Say, keep making it. But like I said, they got Sister Coy put out that recipe book, and in that recipe book, she also lists all the different alternatives to stuff in there and all that. So, got one here, Tom.
I was good in Straitway Nashville. But I was gonna say, as far as the sugar's concerned, from my personal experience, I went probably about 30 days to test myself and see. Before, boy, I was eating oatmeal cream pies and all that, honey buns, all that.
Boy,
And,
yeah, that's it.
I tested myself for 30 days, and what I did notice was increasing in energy level, less what's called cravings, as you were saying, having more energy throughout the day and not as many crashes and dips. And I'll say the first, I guess, week, I had a drop in energy level, but I knew I had to like push through that because that was the body adapting to less sugar and getting on the right path. So I'll say from personal experience that sugar thing is definitely a thing.
Right.
Brother Mike, would you recommend tubers like sweet potatoes, cassava, yuca,
Well, so the sisters use cassava flour, stuff like that, but like those, like they don't have all the detrimental effects, but it's still a type of sugar, and sugar isn't bad because your body needs sugar for energy, but it needs the right type of sugar. And fruit sugar is a type of sugar it needs. It doesn't come with all these detrimental effects and dehydrating your body and stuff like that.
still not too much?
Yeah, still not too much. And we're gonna get into that part of what to eat. We're gonna get into that here momentarily. Go ahead, bro.
Listen.
But
what would you say are good alternatives for caffeine? I've been using chicory.
yeah, that's fine. Chicory root, that's fine. But good alternatives to caffeine is like why are our energy levels low? You see what I'm saying? A lot of times it's burnt out adrenal glands because what caffeine does is stimulate your adrenal glands. And what happens is, you know, like I told y'all before, I gave y'all just a brief how caffeine works. You know what I'm saying? But what caffeine is doing is stimulating your adrenaline glands, your adrenal glands, and it's making them work overtime. The other thing that makes your adrenal glands work overtime is stress. And like, or if you got bitterness or something going on, or if you're not getting enough sleep and all that. You see what I'm saying? So what a lot of people doing is overtaxing their adrenal glands, and then they don't have no caffeine, and oh man, I'm tired. It's like, now you like burned out. So there's herbs I have in some of my herbal blends, like a good herb for the adrenal glands is licorice root. Or if you have high blood pressure, don't take licorice root, take wild yam root. You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff, but it's a whole process. There's other things you got to be aware of when you're doing it. You know, like if your adrenal glands are down, your kidneys are probably down too. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Yeah, but I've been off caffeine for a couple years now, maybe 3-4 years. But I was on caffeine hard. Like I wasn't just drinking coffee. I bought a kilo of pure caffeine powder. And I take a little scoop of it, put it in, I forget what that oil was. Oh, coconut oil with water. And I put it in there and I squeeze grapefruit juice in it because the grapefruit juice suspends the caffeine in your blood longer. And I drink that little concoction, boy, and I have a motor on me. I'd be going hard. But then I began getting all these, like, feeling weird. And I remember one morning I was going to work and I had drank that stuff, and I was like yawning and falling asleep damn near while I was driving. It was like I had burned that, you know. Yeah, so. Go ahead, Terrence.
Hey, Brother Mike, is it okay if I make 2 comments just in
Go ahead.
So, part of my job, I have to educate patients. A lot of people kind of don't understand, I guess, some of the physiology, but when you're overweight, your body has to create new blood vessels, and it increases your blood pressure, which affects your kidneys. So when you lose weight with someone with he's on communion, it helps decrease the pressure off your kidneys. It decreases your resistance in your blood vessels, so your kidneys won't be affected. And then with the blood sugar spikes with like bread and the stuff we was talking about as far as sugar with whole grains and it spikes your blood sugar, your insulin levels go up, which increases your ability to gain weight. When your insulin level spikes, your body also wants to start building fat in your adipose tissue. So everything is saying is on point.
There you go. So check this out on building off what he just said. This concerns sugar. Over time, high blood glucose levels can damage the small blood vessels that supply the nerves in your body. This stops essential nutrients that reaches. As a result, the nerve fibers can become damaged and they may disappear. Nerve damage can cause health problems ranging from mild numbness to pain that makes it hard to do normal activities, okay? Let me see. Okay. Now, what I want to get into now real quick now, I talked about wheat, grains, all that stuff like that. We're going to briefly, real quickly, we're going to also talk about dairy, because that's the next one down, where too much dairy consumption, like if you notice, like if you ever see people when they eat ice cream, you'll have mucus. That's how mucus forming and inflammatory these dairy products are. Here's another thing about dairy. It says basically if milk is cocaine, then cheese is crack. Right? It says our brain's reward center releases dopamine when we eat salty foods like cheese in order to encourage us to eat more of it. Many addictive drugs increase dopamine activity. Dopamine makes our bodies become attracted to whatever product it is included. It's included in. What dairy is a cow's milk, and what that milk is designed to do is keep that big calf wanting more. So it has proteins in it or whatever that give you that dopamine, pleasure and everything like that. And that's why, you like me, like pizza, my thing. You know what I'm saying? And I smell some cheese cooking, forget about it. But it is. Dairy is very addictive also. It's not as destructive and everything like the wheat. I eat dairy, but just not a whole bunch. You know what I'm saying? Not crazy amounts of it. Now, the thing about alkaline foods, and this is what we have to try to move to, this is what that recipe book y'all gonna see. Alkaline foods burn cleaner. They break down cleaner. They don't leave all the toxins in your body, okay? So what I wanna do, I did this last time, I'm gonna do it again. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show y'all an example of literally what happens in your body when you're consuming these foods. Hey, y'all can stand up. So, let's say this path through here, this is your blood vessel. We're going to use heart disease or whatever for this analogy. So this is your blood vessel. This is the wall of it, and these are your cells and all that stuff like that. And let's say you're eating one of these junky diets, you're eating all types of stuff. And what happens is your lymphatic system begins to back up, and every single organ in your body is surrounded by lymphatic vessels. And they don't like to tell you this mainstream, but again, all you got to do is look at the little medical journals and stuff that they put out, medical publications, and they tell you everything. The lymphatic system is more vast than your blood system, okay? But anyway, it's your blood vessel, and I'm making this real simple. And you have y'all blood cells. So these are blood cells, these are blood cells. And I'm a toxin. And here I am coming through. Your blood vessel wall will absorb that toxin. And then it'll go through the lymphatic system and go on through it. But no, stay there. But now the lymphatic system is backed up. So then another toxin comes in. Then another one. Then another one. Then another one. And it begins backing up. And now we're all the way here. It's all filled up with toxins. The lymphatic system is backed up. So another one comes in. So it starts going like this. Then another one comes in. It starts expanding out more. And it's just trying to keep the lifeblood clean by any means. More toxins come in. And that wall begins to expand and close in. And then what do you have? High blood pressure, because now there's a restriction going through there. Then another toxin comes in, boom, it keeps going, another toxin. And now what do you have? Stroke, heart attack, all those conditions that you hear about. Let's say this same thing was happening in your thyroid gland, and it's like that. Then you, depending on where it's at and what it's hitting on in your thyroid, you might have hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism. Let's say it's happening in the brain. Sometimes people, you might have a stroke or something like that. Like you name the area, you name the disease. So say you talk about fibroids. This is what fibroids are. What is this whole group of toxins and cells over here called? It's called a tumor. And it keeps happening, and the lymphatic system backs up more and more, and it keeps getting backed up. Now, it's so backed up in this area here that like blood and the nutrients it needs to get to it can't get to it. And now it's getting toxic because, like I said, these are cells. These cells are putting out their cellular waste, and these toxins are backed up in here, and it's getting real nasty. And then the next thing you know, and they don't know that there's some theories on it, but the next thing you know, the cells start dividing and splitting uncontrollably, and they call it cancer. You see what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's because it's a clogged up lymphatic system. And that's going to bring us to the diet portion of the thing, where the reason why fruits are so powerful and amazing, the analogy I would use is like this area here is all dried out and backed up. When the fruits come in and hydrate it and loosen it up, the fruits are clean, so they're not full of toxins. So you're stopping the buildup, and the fruits are just coming in and beginning to bring water and nutrients to the area to begin get it moving again, get it flowing again. The herbs add to that. Like what I tell people, a lot of people are like, hey Mike, you got this herb? Hey Mike, you got that herb? Hey, you got an herb for this? But what you're asking me, it's like you washing your clothes with all laundry detergent and no water. That's what trying to jump on my herbs and not getting on a fruit diet is like. You see what I'm saying? You trying to take a shower with some soap, how's that gonna go? How clean you gonna get with no water? You just rubbing soap on yourself. That's how it is with the herbs. If you trying to detox with the herbs, but you're not on a hydrating diet of fruit to cleanse out whatever you got going on. Like, she had her hand up.
So one once your nerves are destroyed, I know y'all can do all things, but is it, how can you restore them through corrected eating or something like that?
Yeah. It'll grow back. They can grow back. Like they got people. There's a lot of cases where a dude was paralyzed and he got on an all fruit diet and he was just coughing up all types of mucus and got his nerve endings grew back and all that stuff. But that type of stuff, you gotta be on a serious fruit diet. You know what I'm saying? And all you're doing is the body wants to regenerate itself. You just gotta give it what it needs to do. You know what I'm saying? These, like when you're eating these grains and these majority of these cooked foods, they pull water out of you. When you eat an orange, it's hydrating you. And that's water. It wasn't filtered through some plant down the street or something where they throwing chemicals in it. That water was filtered through a tree. You know what I'm saying? So it's pure water. You know what I'm saying? So that comes from fruit and stuff like that.
So when you can't consume fruit through the body,
what was that?
You said eat a lot of fruits. Can you just put them in a smoothie when you just can't eat them? Or I'm talking about chew, because there's certain things I can't chew.
Yeah, then do it. Have it through a smoothie. What I recommend if people have any blood, high blood sugar issues, you got to be careful, juicing your fruit or making smoothies. You got to know which fruit or which. Like, for instance, oranges aren't super high on the glycemic index. So if somebody has like diabetes or something, they could eat orange and it won't spike them as fast as grapes or watermelon would. So I'm just saying that just so, that's a concern. You know what I'm saying?
I have a sciatic nerve pain.
A what?
Sciatic.
Yeah.
From bones that are no longer in place or jagged edges and the cartilage is gone. Isn't your body supposed to, like when people have a broken arm and they cast it and it mends back together, right? Wouldn't that be the same if you had
osteoarthritis? Yeah, osteoarthritis is what I just showed you through that now, that it's inflammation.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, when people are consuming these inflammatory foods and stuff like that, and they're consuming a bunch of these inflammatory foods, your body is so busy dealing with that, it doesn't have time to regenerate itself. You see what I'm saying? When you start consuming there's different levels of fast. Like you do an all fruit fast where you eat all types of fruit. That's gonna tell your body, hey, we eating fruit. We're consistently doing it. Let me start preparing stuff because now, and I'm hydrated. Boom. You could go another level where you do a mono fruit fast where you eat nothing but one fruit for a period of time. Now your digestive system's like, look, this is all we digesting, we good. It's gonna cleanse even more. Then you go another level to a juice fast where you're just drinking nothing but a juice. Then you go a mono juice fast. That's an even higher level of detoxification. And then if you want to go real extreme, you could go with a water fast. That's an even higher level where you really gonna be cleansing stuff out. And then above all that is just a dry fast. And like sometimes if people are having kidney issues and their kidneys aren't functioning and they're not filtering, going on a dry fast will jumpstart those kidneys a lot of times and get the kidneys filtering and stuff like that. But that's more advanced stuff that, like, if somebody's going to do that, they need to be educated on it
And if you're gonna do water fast and dry fast, you need to know exactly what you're doing. Because you can mess yourself up, yeah. Yeah, that's more extreme, but go ahead.
Bless you, sir.
Bless you.
My question is, for a person who doesn't really eat much fruit and probably should, is there specific, do you recommend specific types of fruit that you may sow? Like the mono fruit, you kind of answered some questions as you were going on and I was listening. To like get started. Like
Yeah.
is there one fruit or another that I should
Right, so the fruits that are powerful detoxifiers are going to be watermelons, your melons, period, berries, which grapes are a berry. So grapes, berries, oranges, the fruits that have a lot of juice in them are going to be the fruits that are powerful cleansers and detoxifiers. If you want to go a step down, it would be like bananas and dates. That's if you just like, because sometimes people be detoxifying, and when you start detoxifying, there's actually symptoms you're gonna begin to get. Like you might get headaches, and I got a whole list, and some of the stuff is extreme. All the way to, if you're doing an extreme detoxification, people have had their nails fall off, they went blind temporarily, like crazy stuff, bleeding, black mucus coming out of them. It can get real extreme with this. Like, but the body, depending on how toxic it is, that's what it'll do, some crazy things. But anyway, yeah, so those are the main fruits you want to stick to. Grapes are astringent. They pull on toxins and stuff like that. I have to look at my notes, but the different fruits can go towards different things. Like berries are good for neurological type things. Okay? So yeah. Go ahead.
Shalom, blessings, sir.
Shalom.
Forgive me if you answered this already, but my question is, I've heard many times about vegetables and things being like a roughage, like our leafy greens.
Mm-hmm.
Does it not do the same thing to detoxify the body or cleanse the body as well?
Right, yeah. What I was telling them, vegetables build, fruits cleanse. And just so you know, like a vegetable, the fruit of a plant, like for instance, peppers are a fruit. Potatoes are a root. What's another one that, of course, tomatoes are a fruit. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. But certain vegetables, they build, and like I said, the fruits cleanse, and typically the juicier the fruit, the more it's gonna cleanse, typically. So.
Shalom, Brother Israel.
Where they?
I'm right here. Sorry, sir. Yes, I came a little late, but I did hear something that talked about the adrenal.
The adrenals?
Adrenal?
Yes.
Yes. And I had been diagnosed when you stated about, they said subclinical hyperthyroidism.
Right.
They diagnosed me with.
Hypo or hyper?
Hyper.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. And I went through the test and everything, and they were saying it's just a little bit of a T3 or whatever they were saying that, but still I feel bad. And I also had chronic, due to chronic stress from a lot of the things going on. So I lost a good amount of weight from it, muscle, basically too, from that. So it was a lot of things. I got on this program, and if you have a little time, I'd like to just check it out for you, but it's here. It's under for cell protection. It's to build the cells. So just to say about, and the foods that they state on here that's to be eaten as well. And still nothing, it seems like it's improving, but I'm not really sure because I just started 2 months into 2 months. So I know there's a lot been said, just to update you to where the question will be with that as far as the certain foods. And like you said, I do the fruit, and I like fruits and stuff. I love fruits actually. But the fruit diet sounds like a good one. But they say they need protein in it.
So real fast, hyperthyroidism and stuff with the thyroid, it still goes back to the same thing, a clogged lymphatic system. It's just manifesting, it's clogged up in that area. That's where it's clogged at. So it goes back to the same thing where the cleansing has to go forth. You know what I'm saying? So you have to eat a cleansing high fruit or all fruit diet to cleanse it out. Because see what'll happen, sometimes people have hyperthyroidism, which is the thyroid's running too fast, or sometimes people have hypothyroidism where it's going too slow. And a lot of herbalists who don't really get it, they're like, oh, give them some iodine, give them this, do that, do the other. But at the end of the day, the reason the thyroid's acting up is because lymphatically, there's backup there, there's toxins in there, and it's throwing it out of whack and stuff like that. Go ahead. Your turn, go ahead. Shalom.
I know you were saying something about fasting. Now, we already do spiritual fast, where we do a dry fast or just a water and tea fast for like a couple of days to work the spirit.
Right.
But my question about that is, when it comes down to correcting itself or correcting the body, about how long would you say or recommend that we should do a water fast versus a dry fast to do the restarts of rebuilding the body, like you said, to dry fast would jumpstart redoing the kidneys?
Okay, so to jumpstart the kidneys, what you would do is go one day with no food, no water, and then the next day you could do a juice fast and drink a juice. Drink nothing but like some type of fruit juice. It might be orange juice or whatever that you squeeze out of a fruit. If you want to do it on a higher level. Or if you want to go a level higher than that, you could go, what was that?
I said, so just one day?
Listen, what you do, you go one day, no water, no nothing. The next day, you could pick what you want to consume. And then the day after that, no water, no nothing. Then the day after that, consume something. That's how I tell people to do it. Trust me, you could do it way harder, but I'm not recommending, because I know there's high level fasts that I know of, but I'm not putting it out here to the general public without, you need to know what you're doing when you get on the extreme stuff. But what I just told you there is going to be very effective. Or you could go one day, like what I would do, one day, no food, no water, and the next day, nothing but watermelon. And what you're going to find, and the way you know whether your kidneys are cleansing or not is the first time you pee in the day, so the first piss you take, you want to urinate in a clear jar and look in there. And if your kidneys are filtering, you're going to see a ton of mucus and sediment and stuff floating around in there and all this stuff in there. If your kidneys are not filtering, you're going to take that first urination of the day and it's going to just look like apple juice. The color doesn't matter. It's just going to be just as clear as apple juice. There's not going to be anything in there. And that means your kidneys aren't removing any toxins out of your system. And that means you probably backed up. And like I said, that's a good way to get it going, is to do what I just said there. Now, to throw something on top of that, like I said, to throw, with the analogy I gave earlier, then you throw our herbs, we got the kidney kickstart herbs, then you throw that on there, and it'll be more extreme, But, like I said, you don't need my herbs, or you don't need to spend money with us to get your body in the right condition. Like I said, I've washed up when I was in the military and stuff like that. we be in the Middle East, no soap, but just wash up with water, and it does a pretty good job, you know. You see what I'm saying? But you can't wash up without water. You're gonna be pretty funky.
Bless you, sir.
Bless you.
Another quick question, piggybacking off of her, when it came to the key cellular product that she was trying to show you, I noticed in reading and everything, okay, gelatin. I see that in everything, and I tried to pretty much avoid it when I came to learn about it, but with me, because I have PKU, so it really doesn't matter for me. However, I've been hearing a significant difference in the type of gelatins that we need to clarify as far as like what is a positive one that you can eat or use versus the one that's like one related. When it comes to anything.
So gelatin as far like you talking about Jello or like why?
Gelatin. Okay, so this might be a question for a sister.
Okay.
Because it's in food legend. Is any of the sisters in here can help me out by knowing the reference on what I'm referring to as far as gelatin pork related products?
Oh yeah. But because like for instance, we have a multivitamin and it's in capsules or whatever. And it's made out of plant-based gelatin or something.
Okay, so ones that are in like store-bought products off the shelves of food markets and stuff, right? Because there are a lot of products that have that in the ingredient section. And so it's like whenever I just see the word alone, it just like stays clear from it because I'm not sure.
Okay, well let me tell you this. All right. This is what they tell you when you go shopping. You should shop along the outside of the store, like all the refrigerated areas. You shouldn't really go down those aisles for the most part. But I know in our house, like there's not a whole bunch of things we consume that are in them boxes with them long ingredients on them. You know what I'm saying?
Produce and frozen.
For the most part. You know, again, if you look at that recipe book that Sister Coya put on the Household Herbs website, it's gonna tell you a ton. You know what I'm saying? That recipe book, she lists what she buys, and that's why I don't know nothing about it because I don't know. Like I'm not. When it comes to that part, that's where she's the expert at. You know.
Because it's toxin.
Oh, yeah.
So I just kind of piggybacking.
Okay. It's good, Tom. Yeah.
Well, first, I want to just give a little, testimony to the water fast. You know, of course, it definitely, I agree, you want to know what you're doing. But I could say I had a good experience with the water fast. I did the water and a little bit of cranberry juice herbal tea for 2 weeks, and I definitely say it worked. You know, I was cleansed. My energy felt different. I felt clear. I wanted to ask you about the fruit. So you talked about a whole lot of different fruits, and I know I read this book on blood types and how different fruits have like different IDs, and different fruits like have different effects on people based on blood type. Do you have any recommendation as to
right? So there's a blood type diet, and there's a correlation with your body's makeup and certain foods and stuff like that. But like for instance, in the blood type diet, there's people that they say can eat grains, and there's people that they say can't. Well, you remember what I said? I said grains are going to affect everybody. They're going to do the same thing, but if a person has a weaker makeup, it's going to affect them. But regardless, the grains are going to do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the fruits. I got even in the Bible, the Most High say, the fruits are
meat to you and everything like that. The blood type thing, you know, I haven't seen any proof. I've seen people have success with it. But I have seen people get healed from major diseases like HIV and stuff like that doing fruits in a specific, you see what I'm saying? So I only talk about what I know, what I have witnessed and seen. And I've seen the numbers where somebody, you know, they had HIV and other diseases, and I watched them reverse it being on a fruit diet, using the fruits and the herbs, you know, I guess you call it in a strategic way, you know what I'm saying? Like if you have a nerve issue, consuming those types of herbs, you see what I'm saying? Consuming like not herbs, fruits like berries and stuff like that, going on a high berry diet. You see what I'm saying? So, like for watermelon, now my memory's bad on it, but I got a little list that tells you, okay, for a lymphatic system, you want to go with grapes because they're astringent. They cleanse tissue. Like sister said, she had a thyroid problem. She should be on grapes. It's going to cleanse the tissue. Watermelon gets the lymphatic system moving. You see what I'm saying? Blood type, I don't know. All I know is people that have consumed the fruit and herbs in this manner for this condition have reversed it. You see what I'm saying? And that brings me to another thing that I wanted to talk about is these diets. You have the you have the, what's that diet called? What's the diet called where you eat keto? You have the keto diet. You got the keto diet. You have the complex carb diet. I don't know if y'all heard of that. You have the, paleo it isn't too bad. But you have the carnivore diet. And like I told y'all earlier, there's people that get on the carnivore diet, oh, it reversed this, that, and the other. Yeah, but you also eliminated all the grain. Like when you eliminate grain, you're gonna feel a difference. The keto diet. Oh, I lost weight on the keto diet. But the keto diet is hell on your kidneys because you just consuming insane amounts of protein. Then you have a lot of these diets, these people will lose all this weight, but they got flab and fat, like their skin is hanging all over the place because they didn't lose it in a healthy way. And they're dehydrated. And they didn't hydrate the skin so it could shrink back to its normal size. You see what I'm saying? You get on fruit and lose weight on fruit, you're gonna lose weight in a healthy way. Hey, is this up? Y'all getting ready to have something in here? Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so you didn't lose, you want to lose it in a healthy way. Go ahead.
How long should you, to cleanse things out, be on a fruit diet?
You should switch to an alkaline diet. It's a lifestyle. So
what does that consist of?
look at that recipe book Corey put there.
Oh, okay.
But basically what it consists of in a nutshell is cutting back, because I don't tell people, oh, get totally off meat and all that stuff like that. I just tell people you need to cut back significantly on grains, dairy, and meat because they cause inflammation. You got to have a low inflammation diet so your body is able to heal and it's not just wasting its time trying to fight all the toxins and all that stuff coming in. Go ahead, Herb.
Okay, you said about watermelon. Now, I know watermelon works for high blood pressure, but is it good to have seed or seedless?
It's good to have seeds, okay? But that if you people have cleansed and reversed disease on seedless. A lot of people, I can't get this from Walmart because this, that, and the other. Bro, if you knew what they really putting in this stuff that's in these boxes and that box food and all that you eating, this fruit is the safest thing in the world, you know. Yeah, one of the biggest things you need to take away from this is a lot of us are running around dehydrated and under, you know, with no nutrients, you know. And that's what the fruit's gonna do, it's gonna hydrate you, you know. And once you hydrate, you remember the little analogy I gave there, you're gonna get things shaking and moving.
Again, piggyback, the seeds versus seedless. I was told it was always better to go seeds with everything because they modify even fruits now.
Right.
They grow it in, you know, their way of incubate.
Well, no, and that's what I'm saying. I understand that the fruits, like one of the brothers in our assembly, Brother Craig here, he's a farmer. He knows this stuff. He knows the chemicals. He knows everything when it comes to that. But there was a story somebody was telling me about this guy in Alaska, and he had some type of issue. And the only grapes he could get were seeded grapes, or seedless grapes. And he still reversed it with it. Now they're not, listen. The Most High put it in here that, hey, what the fruits are able to do for you. There is gonna come a time when you can't even mess with these fruits anymore. That time's coming. That's why we're in the situation we're under leadership that we're under now, because he sees it. That's why he's trying to get us on land so we can provide and grow for ourselves.
Yes, sir. Because cabbage is like a prime example. Because
what is
cabbage?
Because
fruits is next, I guess, because I already hit vegetables apparently, because I've seen how they modified or made like cabbage. I don't know if it's plastic or what, but there's numerous videos out there of experimentation of them putting lighters to the effect to show the difference between.
Right.
So, yeah, it's scary.
Right. But we, you know, like I said, what you gotta, you know, I eat a ton of seedless watermelons and grapes and stuff like that, and you know, it still works. But don't get it twisted. Fruit that you grow yourself, like I know when we get on land, boy, we ain't gonna be playing with this. Like, we gonna go hard, because I know when you get like I've gotten herbs from different people who sell herbs, and you'll see a total difference with them. And like, we've got herbs from one place on Amazon, and we got herbs from another place in Canada. And this place in Canada, they grew their stuff, and you could tell it was the real deal. And it was so powerful. It was like mind blowing. So it's critical that we get on land and just grow our own stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we see the time approaching. In anywhere you look, whether it's in the schools, whether it's in the politics, whether it's in the warfare, whether it's no matter where you look, you see the time coming that, hey, we need to do for ourselves, you know?
Okay, so in regards to the vegetables, I know we're supposed to eat like, I've heard about 7 cups of vegetables a day. Sometimes that might be hard to do. I was told about juicing vegetables, especially your dark greens.
So all right. So what I was just telling all them, I was telling them earlier. You weren't here when I said it, but what I was telling them is vegetables build and fruits cleanse. So if you're trying to heal from something or something like that, or cleanse or improve your health, you want to go with the fruits.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to detoxify and do regenerative detoxification and cleanse your body out, you have to go with the fruits, because it's proven they heal and reverse disease. The vegetables, they will build stuff up. So like if you have somebody who just recovered from some major disease or some major detoxification, and they're trying to build back up, put weight on, stuff like that, then you want to go with the vegetables.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was trying to say, because of me losing my muscle mass during what was going on, that's
Okay.
want to make sure if I can get it easier than me, because I love, doing my beautiful salads and things, but it's just so hard to
I got a perfect one for you. I just told him about it. If you want to build muscle and build up, you want to go with alfalfa sprouts.
Oh, I love, okay.
And you can consume that. You can consume that like as a salad.
Okay.
You know the way it is.
Yes, sir. I do like microgreens as well.
Yep.
I think that would be good. Okay.
Yep.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Hey, get the other mic. You can move around.
Question about the fruits, as far as how you clean them properly. You have an example of how you properly clean the fruits. All that stuff.
Hey, y'all seen me yesterday. They brought them grapes back from Walmart, and I just wiped one on my pants. I be gangster with mine. Nah, yeah, you need to clean them, but sometimes I just be country as heck, But you should clean them.
Right, because of the pesticides,
Right, yeah. But yeah, you should clean them, but sometimes I don't, if I'm hungry as heck, But yeah, clean your fruit. But I think some people, Koya knows what it is. She got, there's something they use in the house where they'll set the grapes in something.
They use vinegar.
They use what?
Vinegar and water.
I don't think, no, they don't, our sisters don't use vinegar though. They use something.
There's water and baking soda.
Maybe it's. Go ahead.
Let's do this. PKU. That's what I have. So, I have to avoid proteins.
PK what?
Phenylketonuria is what it stands for.
Yeah.
So, it's basically my body doesn't break down protein like a regular person, and when your body breaks down protein, it then converts to tyrosine, which doesn't produce tyrosine, so I have to drink a special formula so many times a day.
Okay.
From birth to death. So my diet is all like vegetable fruit. It should be fruit anyways, but I don't know, I just can't handle the fruit. So I was like, I have to get used to it. And I like watermelon and bananas and grapes. That's probably where it stops. But going to piggyback off her thing as far as the vegetables, right? When you said for protein, and you said the alfalfa sprouts portion, is what are good protein type vegetables?
So what I was saying is the body breaks when you consume protein. It breaks the protein down into an amino acid, and then it reassembles it into the protein it needs.
Okay, then that's what the formula is for. Because the formula has the tyrosine and the broken.
It has the amino acids in it. So you don't need to consume a protein. You need to consume fruits.
Okay.
Yeah. Now there's the other thing. There's herbs that and like we have a multivitamin herb where it has all your minerals and all that stuff in it.
120 plus, I'm a subscriber.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. And all that is sea moss and bladderwrack basically. It's sea vegetables, that have all the minerals and nutrients and all that stuff. So.
Yeah.
We got it here. Yeah. Go ahead.
Is there such thing as like a certain time in the day where your body absorbs good minerals better?
Yeah, when you sleep. Like when you sleep, your body's regenerating all that. And what a lot of people do, like I know Pastor talked about it, But a lot of people, they won't, from 6 in the afternoon, they'll have their last meal at least, at 6 p.m. By 6 p.m. they will have their last meal and they won't eat. And so they'll go to sleep, wake up, and they won't eat something else till around lunchtime. And yeah, after you fast, after you've done a fast, your body, it absorbs whatever you put into it. There's a lot of people, they get this high-end, very potent ginseng. It's an expensive ginseng, and then they fast for a while, and then first thing they consume is that ginseng, and their body just pulls all that in. And then again on what you said with the fasting, and we're getting into kind of higher level detoxification, that's what I recommended to that brother, that little thing I told him. I told him, hey, go on a dry fast for a day, and then the next day, eat nothing but watermelon or whatever fruit, okay? And then go on a dry fast, and what he's doing is like a sponge, and you're squeezing the sponge out, and all the waste is coming out of the sponge, okay? And then you're putting the sponge in some clean water and opening it up, and it's pulling all the water in again. Get away. Oh, it's him, okay. And then you're pulling all the water in, and then you're consuming the fruit again, and you're squeezing it back out again when you fast. So you're literally rinsing yourself out. That's what you're doing when you're doing that. Where you go on a fast, dry fast, then you go and consume, fruit juice or whatever you're gonna consume. You're literally just, and it's a good way to clean yourself, and you'll see it when you go to the bathroom. You'll see that you're getting all types of stuff out of it. So yeah, good question. Go ahead.
Brother Mike, for weight training and exercising, there's a lot of protein shakes and like creatine. Is there any that we can, that is, like, for your knowledge, is safe to consume, or should we stay away from all of them?
I wouldn't mess with it like that. Like they got that casein protein. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with none of that stuff. I don't know. I've seen the pea protein. I don't know about that. I haven't looked into all that. But if it's protein, again, you're putting a big load and you're generating, like I said, because your body it's creating inflammation. And again, that's why you see them bodybuilders, they get older, man, they be all jacked up. It's because, man, they done went to the extreme of all this protein consumption. There's a lot of kidney failure in bodybuilding. Huh? Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of pretty much what the brother said about the water fast. Several years ago, those that know me kind of know that I did it because I've shown pictures in the past, but I was nearly 300 pounds, and I pretty much cut out all sugars for the most part. I consumed very little fruit, but I was probably drinking water, like I was in a cup of water about every 20, 25 minutes every single day for 3 months, and I lost 80 pounds. And it was crazy. And about, I think a total of 5 months, doing it more consistent, I lost a total of 110 pounds. So that was crazy. And in the process, like what the brother was saying about like inflammation or like mucus and stuff, I was a bad snorer. Like I snored every night, kept my mouth full all the time, and it completely went away. And then on top of that, for many years, I had very bad like acid reflux, heartburn, and all that went completely away.
Yep.
Now, fast forward to today, I gained a few pounds back because, the grains and stuff like that. But just literally like, having leadership like Mike and, being on the grain-free diet, I'm starting to get right back on it, and I'm nowhere near as I used to be, but, getting back on it, and it's helped a lot. I just it's addicting, like he says. It really is. So through discipline and fasting, man, and also deliverance, because like Pastor, when he goes through deliverance, he speaks about these spirits.
Yep.
So it's a bad world out there, man. If we don't take care of ourselves, we're going to be part of it easily. It consumes. So
hey, and real fast on what he said, and this is something else that's interesting that you're going to see if you try this. When you go, and I think I said it earlier, but when you eliminate the grains, your appetite is just going to drop. Like the next thing you know, you're not craving all these food, you're not consuming all this stuff, you're eating way less. Like I said, I'm hard pressed to have one meal a day. I pretty much eat one meal a day. 2 meals it is a lot. And I no longer can do 3 meals. I stopped that a couple of years ago. And it's not, I made myself stop. It's just once you eliminate these grains, it stops messing with your appetite and making you crave it. See what I'm saying?
It's too much protein.
What was that?
Too much protein. Assuming about 230 grams a day.
You do? Yeah, and the thing is, protein, like when you're consuming a lot of protein like that, it's a time bomb. You know what I'm saying? It's going to catch up with you eventually. So, yeah, like I said, the protein creates inflammation. So, yeah.
So, how much protein would you recommend?
No, like, it's hard to say how much I would recommend. Like, how much fruit would I recommend would be better? I say, what I do, I eat fruit for breakfast, pretty much fruit for lunch, and then when I get home, the sisters they make a kind of an alkaline meal. And what we're getting ready to switch to at our assembly is on the weekends, we might have meat, dairy, all that, but during the week, our meal that we have during the week is going to be an alkaline meal. So we're going to try to move to that. But yeah, that's my mind. Now, the standard American diet is eggs, bacon, and toast for breakfast. And then for lunch, you have a sub sandwich with, or a hamburger or some stuff like that or whatever. And then for dinner, you're having another meal and maybe a snack. So you get it, and literally what's happening, your body is just working to digest this food and break this food down 24/7. There is no time for healing and regeneration. Where if you wake up in the morning and like when I'm at home and I'm in my routine, in the morning I'll drink some herbs, like a herbal tea, coconut water, and maybe eat 4 or 5 oranges. And then something similar and super lightweight for lunch also. And then for dinner, have whatever the sisters are cooking. You see what I'm saying? But again, it's grain free. A lot of times there might be dairy in it and meat in what they cook, So that's my typical ideal day. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment because I wanted to paint a more vivid picture for you guys. Because I've seen Michael prior to his grain-free diet. I've seen him put away 2 large pizzas, or a large pizza and an entree and still be hungry. So 1 meal a day is a big jump from where he used to be.
I damn near needed deliverance from pizza. But what's happened recently, one of the sisters in Straitway, Georgia, made me pizza pasta, and it's alkaline. Yeah, well, minus the cheese that's in it, but it's chickpea noodles, and that if you go on Koi's recipe book, she'll show you all this stuff where. Instead of having grain noodles, you can do chickpea noodles. And a chickpea is a fruit. That's the fruit of whatever the name of that plant is. You know? Any other questions? If y'all want to talk to me afterwards, y'all can too, you know. So is that it? I have an answer. Herb. Oh, you got one good.
What do you think about Dr. Setting?
That what he taught, that was regenerative detoxification. That's the same thing pretty much. You know, and what that type of diet is called is an alkaline diet. And when it's called alkaline because you're consuming foods that don't leave behind an acidic ash. So once the food is digested, it doesn't leave behind waste that the body has to use its inflammatory response to encapsulate or whatever. You know? So, go ahead.
I just want to know if I picked up like any book in the library that said alkaline diet, would it roughly be okay to go with that, or are they generally about the same?
I guess, but what you mainly want to look for, all you have to look for is make sure it doesn't have grain in it, and it doesn't have, let me simplify, make it super simple. Cut down or eliminate for a season or whatever, grain, meat, and dairy. And eat more fruit. If you do that, next year, when we're here at the same feast, you're gonna be like, hey, this happened, this stopped, blah, 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 this, all this, blah. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you want to go to another level with it, then we get into cleansing and detoxification, like where you could do, like there's a fast where you drink this stuff. It's 100% grape juice, bentonite clay, and I forget some type of husk. I forget what it's called, but it's selenium. And you one day or for 3 days you dry fast, and then for 1 day you drink that stuff. And that's brutal, but I mean it because you have what you have, and it's very extreme though. But what you have, the grape juice is giving you nutrients. The bentonite clay is pulling toxins out, and then the psyllium husk is like a brush going through your digestive system and all that. And people say they be on that, and then they'll take a dump, and it's something for a horror movie in there. You know, but it's doing its job. But I'll tell you this. I made a herbal concoction to cleanse my digestive system, and I went on a fast. And it was a water fast I think I was on. And I went on it for I think 2 days or something like that. But all of a sudden I had to go to the bathroom. I had to take a dump. And I was like, I had got everything out of me. And I took a dump, and what'll happen when you're doing these types of fasts, you'll get what they call mucinoid plaque will come out of you. And it's literally the toxic lining, the toxins that are backed up in your intestines. It'll come out. And again, it's something for a horror movie, the way it smells. But it's cleansing you out. It's showing how nasty you are inside, because everybody goes, they wash their hands, their hair, but most people never wash this whole internal path that goes through them, you know? So
whenever you're doing a cleanse.
What was that?
So if you're doing a cleanse, is it better to do a liver cleanse last because everything is going through the liver?
Okay, good question. So what she asks is, how do you cleanse? This is how you cleanse and detoxify. And I'm gonna make it simple as an analogy. So your kidneys are your drain valve. So if you want to clean your sink out, the first thing you have to do, and it's full of water, the first thing you would have to do is pull the drain off so the water could drain down. Well, that's your kidneys. You need to make sure your kidneys are filtrating and cleansing. That's step one. Step two is you got to get the lymphatic system moving, because the lymphatic system drains through the kidneys, okay? So that's step two. And in step three, you want to start astringent and cleansing the tissue and everything. Now, I got herbs that expedite that, but the Most High y'all gave y'all fruit that do all that, and you don't have to get caught up in all those advanced details. You see what I'm saying? You just go with that diet that I'm saying. Because maybe the next feast, I'll do a class and we'll get into the herbs and how to implement them. But I don't want to tell y'all to wash up with no water and give y'all soap. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Hey, Brother Mike. So I'm not planning on doing any extreme cleanse in the near future, but for anyone that is, and they do go about it right and not do the proper research, how do you recommend to protect yourself from your kidneys becoming, because we know when you're cleansing, you're releasing a lot of toxins.
Right.
So if you don't do it the right way, then you could become having kidney failure.
No.
Or liver failure or something.
No. What you got to do, like what'll happen, like if you do it the wrong way, I've seen people take lymphatic, because I have a lymphatic cleanser, and I take it. But if I give it to some people, you'll drink that stuff, and immediately you'll be like, oh, and your kidneys will start hurting, because what? All them toxins is flooding into your kidneys, and your kidneys can't process it enough, it's just burning them up. Acids and all this stuff going in there. That's why you got to follow the protocol, the process of the way. Open up the kidneys first, make sure they're flowing. Make sure, take that urination in the morning and make sure you're cleansing. The kidneys are cleansing out the toxins. Then when you know that, then get on the lymphatic formula, and the lymphatic formula is going to get your lymphatic system flowing and moving. And then I got a more advanced lymphatic formula that pulls more on tissue. It has like white oak bark and stuff like that in it, that pulls toxins out of tissues and all that stuff like that into the lymphatic system out through the kidneys. Go ahead, Sid.
How often should you do the cleansing?
Yeah, I would say don't be on these. I would say don't be on the cleanses for like more than a month, you know. But as far as fruit fasting, man, there's people who've been on nothing but grapes for months, for like 90 days.
Referring to your products of the kidney detoxification and lymphatic, because I'm looking to your wife to order the kidney one first, and then go through that, and then the transition to lymphatic. However,
and listen what I'm saying. Before you can do the kidney one, that's fine. Before you get on the lymphatic one, make sure you're able to be on a high fruit diet or an all fruit diet. So you can, you know, otherwise you're just throwing money at it.
As far as the portion or the amount, like is it like once a month and once a month? Like is there a time frame as how often? Like maintenance.
Yeah, well, this is the other thing. Okay, with the herbs again. At the beginning, y'all heard that verse I read. The Most High put these herbs here. Truth be told, with the exception of bloodroot and pokeroot, majority of these herbs, you could just hit them in abundance and really take them. And then, but with my lymphatic formula, you know, it's going to work, but yeah, you can't just chug that down. You know what I'm saying? But in general, you're really not gonna overdose on the herbs. You know what I'm saying?
Do you recommend drinking like plain RO water?
Do I recommend drinking plain?
Reverse osmosis water?
Yeah, but what I told the brothers and sisters here is the most purest, most hydrating water you could drink is a water that's been filtered through a tree, through the roots into the fruit. That's the purest, most hydrating water you could drink. You see what I'm saying? So that's why being on a high fruit diet. See, the Most High gives us the perfect food. It's like the fruit has the water in it, the nutrients, and the substance to fill you up. It just, and for us, the way we work, fruit is real convenient. You just get an orange, peel it, eat it. You know, get grapes, jam them in your mouth. That's it. Boom. You know, you ain't cooking nothing or fixing nothing up or nothing. You can just eat it and keep going. You know.
Michael right here. So I was just saying, just to like clarify, let's say I wanted to go like detox my body. So let's say like 2 to 3 weeks I go on like a fruit, just eating fruit, and then I get on that kidney cleanser. And then after that, I would probably go on the lymphatic system cleanser, and I'll still be on that fruit diet. And probably, you said like around, if I do that, you think like a month or 2, even sooner, I see a change?
With a lot of stuff I'm saying, like if you eliminate grains, you'll see a change almost immediately. You know, definitely within a week. Like everybody that I've talked to has seen a difference, you know. But a lot of it depends on what you have going on. Like I know I feel a difference with me from some of the stuff I ate yesterday. You know what I'm saying? One of the biggest changes you'll see is when you eliminate the grains, you know,
just the grains,
or cut down on the grains. You'll see a big change.
Is it just the grains, or are you saying grains, meats, and dairies?
I tell people to cut back on the meats and dairies, but the grains are the most. They bring a lot of, you know what I'm saying, issues. Yeah, the grains are definitely the biggest thing. And when you look at the food pyramid, and I just think about it, it's a damn pyramid. But the food pyramid, the base of it is they tell you to eat all these grains. And that pyramid had to be made by the grain industry. You know, they had to influence. Go ahead.
Okay. I know you said food is good, but also with natural spring water coming down from the spring.
Yeah, that's good.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's good water. Back there, and then I'll come in.
To go off spring water, sir?
What was that?
Off the spring water, when you go to buy water, the pH balance to certain waters. Oh, I think Pastor Dow did say something about that. The types. The correlation of the numbers of what you should be.
I mean, I don't look into all that.
So
I drink any daggone thing, whatever. If it's in a bottle, you know. It's like what I said in the beginning, because the way I am, I kind of use like a scientific method, provable, observable, and repeatable. And so that's why I'm talking about what I'm talking about. I'm on this topic because I've observed and proved this to myself and multiple people around me where, okay, you do this. Because there's so much stuff out there that you could get overwhelmed out there looking at all the, hey, do this, hey, do this, let's do that, do this. Yeah, I read the medical journals and all that and looked at the information and tested it and tried it and, you know, seen it, you know, time and time again with the herbs and the fruit and the diet and all that. So I kind of just, you know, I don't get super caught up in, you know, what type of water and all that. I don't drink the tap water out of the faucet, you know, but Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Right.
My question is, so eliminating the grains and kind of like what you said, how y'all do like basically alkaline during the week and meat on the weekend. Can you still detoxify with eating proteins and eliminating grains, adding more fruit into your diet?
Not particularly. Yeah, you will detoxify, you know, and then when you say detoxify, there has to be something to measure that by. So what's going on? You see what I'm saying? So like sometimes I run into people that have a skin condition or they're feeling some type of way. There was a person, they had a neurological issue. We eliminated the grains and weren't consuming as much meat and dairy and everything, and that issue went away, you know. So I know that you see what I'm saying? Yes, when I'm still eating some meat, some dairy, and when I'm taking my kidney cleanser and all that stuff, I definitely be seeing where my body's cleansing. Like I'll take my lymphatic formula and it's pulling, you know. But it's nothing like when you go hard, like when you go all fruit with it, which I'm getting ready to do, you know, after this feast. You know, a lot of times I'm on the move and I'm traveling, I'm doing all this stuff, but I've got to a point now where things have kind of stabilized where I can really, because I'm trying to finish and perfect some of my formulas so I can really push them out there. But yeah, a lot of it is getting in the routine and having the right things in place, like having the sisters know, hey, we need to be cooking this and all that. And real fast, something else I want to tell y'all, because that was a good question. Something else you should do. You can get plantain and grind it up into a powder, or get plantain powder and get burdock root powder. And grind that up into a powder, or vitamin powder, and mix them both together. And everything you cook, put that on. And you're gonna be detoxifying and cleansing and stuff like that. Even that pizza, I'm cleansing somewhat, you know.
Mike, you say meats, that's including fish as well.
Yeah. And what it is, fish, it's a protein. And again, breaking those proteins down, your body has to use acid to do it. So it generates acid, you know. And again, proteins are long chains of amino acids. So the amino acids your body doesn't need or whatever, it has to use inflammation and stuff to take care of it. Okay. Yep.
The reason why I asked
about spring water is because out in Straitway, we've been blessed to, not far from us, we have a natural spring where we go to get water constantly.
Right, you told me about it when I was
That's why I was asking about was that good instead of buying bottled water.
Right, so what spring water is the water as it goes over the rocks, it picks up the minerals and the nutrients from the rocks and stuff it goes over. A lot of this water we buy is stripped of everything, and if you're not consuming fruits and stuff to get your nutrients and taking, like we have vitamins and stuff, this water will actually dehydrate you. You're really not even getting hydrated truly. You're not getting electrolytes and stuff you need. So.
Coconut water, because I use that a lot for the.
I drink it too. Okay. I drink it all the time. It has a lot of electrolytes and stuff. Go ahead. What you think? You have to ask Sister Coy. Where Umbre's here? Where is it, Umbre? Umbre the one put us up on.
Umbre's right.
Huh?
Harvest Right.
And what's that other one she gets?
Kirkland from Costco.
Yeah, they have a Costco brand too. And when you look on the back, it says 100% coconut water or whatever. Because there's another one you could get and it got sugar and other stuff in it.
So what? You saying BCAAs, they're not good?
BC, branch chain amino acids? No, amino acids are what your body puts together to make stuff. But this is the thing. Like you have a lot of isolated chemistry. Like even the magnesium glycinate that I told y'all, that's still isolated chemistry. It's not the best. And until I find something better, you know, that's which the solution to that is getting on land and working my land. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, branch chain amino acids, you need them. They're good. But they're isolated. When you buy it as a supplement, they isolated the chemistry. It's just like the sugar in fruit. When you consume a fruit, that sugar doesn't spike your bloodstream because there's other nutrients in there that the Most High has put in there in perfect combination to where it acts right. You know, when these people do something, they always muck it up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's better to return to the ancient ways, do things, get back to Yah's way, because what this beast system has done is try to put themselves in Yah's place. And oh yeah, oh your kidneys acting up, let me hook you up to this machine, you know, and you know, this is acting up here, let me do this, boom, that's messed up, let me cut that out of there. Like a lot of people got their tonsils removed. That's part of your lymphatic system. That's your lymph node. That's a lymph node, your tonsils. And people had them removed because when they were young, they're consuming so much milk and stuff that they backed up on it. But that's the main lymph node that your brain drains out of, like everything up in your head. So if you got your tonsils removed, now when we're cleansing, it's harder to cleanse the head. Now it can still be cleansed out, but see what I'm saying?
What are your thoughts on, like I've seen videos, and to me it just looks strange, like some type of weird spirituality where they do like with the hands, like cleansing their lymph nodes and stuff.
Oh, they had a thing they call a lymphatic massage where you do that to move your lymph fluid, and they have lymphatic bouncing. We get on a trampoline like this, and you think about it, like, what are you doing? The way the lymphatic system isn't like the circulatory system. It doesn't have a heart pumping it. It moves from movement. And you know, like I said, they always try to come up with something, but if you just do what you're supposed to, live a natural life. For instance, we're on land. If you going like this, picking stuff, you pumping lymphatic fluid, because as your muscles flex, they move the lymphatic fluid. What these people are doing is getting on trampolines like that. It's like, nah, I go out there and work on my land, getting my food, and that's going to give me the exercise and the fluid movement I need. Just going to the Yah's way of doing stuff, you know? Go ahead, Brian.
I'm big on like carbonated spring water, you know, like bottled water, obviously. What are your thoughts on carbonated water?
It's isolated chemistry. It's like you know, like I said, the best place to get your water is filtered through a tree. Who filtered the carbonated water? Coca-Cola? Hey, check this out. We were in Atlanta. Who was with? Were you with me? We were in Atlanta. Umbry was with me. We were in Atlanta. We met this dude who worked at Coca-Cola, and now he worked at the headquarters. He used to work in a factory. He said when they bring that Coca-Cola, the mix in, he said, man, if they spill it, they gotta shut the whole floor down because it's acid and it eats through the concrete. Yeah, that's some. Yeah, that's some.
I just wanted to tell y'all about the brand Umber was talking about. It's Harmless Harvest. They sell that at Publix, the big size bottle for like $10.
It's expensive.
Expensive.
But it's so good.
Huh? Oh, you working?
I used to work at Pitt.
So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
See? He knows what I'm talking about. He used to work there. So that's confirmation. That's a witness. All right, so we good, y'all?
Oh, good. Thank you.
I'm gonna be putting together like a plan that's more structured, like a detoxification cleansing plan. It's just time. Y'all pray for old Michael Israel to get some of that sometime. Bless you, bless you.
Bless you.
Bless y'all.